survive. I will survive. Hey, hey. As long as I know how to live, I know that I'll get by. But all my life to give, if I got all my gifts to give, I will survive. I will survive. Hey, hey. How we gonna do that? I wanna take a cat nap cause it gets really hot out there. Oh, I gotta keep showing off. I gotta keep showing up. I gotta do it. How we gonna do it? Oh, So, when the going gets tough, how does the helper get tougher? I know that's not your strongest suit. That's why we're making this series. The art of war for helpers. So when the going gets tough, have you expected the going to get tough? Did you know that in the efforts of your heart and soul to help another, you could stumble? Did we plan for the fact that we won't win every battle? Are we ready for that? When we fail to plan, we plan to fail. And in such an effort as ours, we can't do that. How do we create a plan and create a plan for even the eventualities where we don't win, where we don't succeed, where sometimes sorrow and distress takes over? And sometimes we have to pick ourselves up too. What do we do then? We do not fail to plan. We do not plan to fail. We plan to pick not only the vulnerable that we work with, we plan not only to pick them up, but we have to be able to pick ourselves up too. So we started with laying plans. We create safety plans at our first meeting, and we know our client at that level. We don't leave our client alone once they've met us. We leave them with a safety plan in place to cover the 24-hour clock, the needs they might have in the long hours of the night, and we remind them to call for or text for support. We also lay good plans because we create very quality treatment plans. And we do that with teamwork. And then we're ready to go. But what happens when along our road we face the unexpected? When we stumble ourselves, when we have sorrow, or when there's sorrow that we don't always win, we need to remember we're in a long battle for many people, for many hearts and many minds. And not every battle will be victorious. We can only control what we can control. We need a plan for when we stumble. That's the next part of laying plans. Some plans need to be for our losses. And you need to have ways to pick yourself up. And I'm learning that very much right now. I've had a loss in my career, and even we can see I've been trying to make this series, and I've stumbled, and I've been hurting, and I've had to pick myself up and rebuild myself, build a lot of confidence, and to remember maybe this was a little failure in my plan, because helpers want to be very optimistic, and we don't want to have bad outcomes for our clients, and that might leave us unprepared. So before we move on to the next step of the art of war, I just want to remind us that as we're laying plans, that is a huge portion of our specialty and what we've been curated in this field to be good at. And we can't just rush over it, and I'm being very repetitive, but our treatment plans and our safety plans are immensely important. And then the interventions that we put into that is the bulk of our knowledge and our specialty. So we want to do that with so much thought, and then revisit it and just cycle back. Just have a spiral of revisiting the groundwork and the foundations that we've laid. But I can't skip over the fact, you can see this in my life now. Maybe if you look at even these few videos, we will stumble, we will take some emotional hits, and we have to plan for that too. So I just want to be really open and honest with you that that's happened to me. You've seen it during this project for the few that have seen it from the beginning, and I want to give that to you and share that with you because it's going to be okay. But you will stumble and you will fall, and we can't fail to plan for our stumbles. and we can't forget that we are imperfect. We need to be humble, and we need to know that sometimes we will fail and we do not have the outcome in our control for others. And I will think of ways to help share how I picked myself up. But I just wanted to say, hey, I stumbled and I fell, and we need to consider that as we lay plans. What is your self-care? Do you take your own advice? Do you take your own medicine? What are your interventions? How can you cycle back and refine them? We lay plans, we plan interventions, and then we continue to stay incredibly curious about the things that we can refine as our skill sets. What are new interventions that are coming out there? What are people trying? What can we talk to clients about? What can we become more specialized about and then bring to clients as well? Revisit your plans and remember that you might stumble as well. And then take your own medicine, because the next thing we're going to do is curate the best interventions that you have heard of and you share, which is what I love, or we'll start with what I've heard. And I really want to break those down. But remember, this is war. This is war against sorrow, and you are not immune. You will stumble and you will fall. You can pick yourself back up because you matter. You're a great resource. And let's make you better and better at treatment plans, safety planning not to fail, picking yourself up, and taking your own medicine. Here's a few clips of me taking my own medicine as we review The Art of War for Helpers so far. Just these first few steps in this battle that is so important.